TK Wrestling and to our 2026 official Royal Rumble predictions show. My favorite PLE of the year, Matt. I know we're on the road to WrestleMania now, but I feel like this is the official kickoff to the road to WrestleMania and favorite time of the year for wrestling. And we're finally here now in Saudi Arabia. Going to be a huge, massive show. A lot of surprises lined up for the actual Royal Rumble matches. And then the two matches that we have additionally are, man, would be main events on almost any other PLE, you could probably say. So, Matt, how excited are you going into the Royal Rumble this year? I think I'm more hyped than I was for last year too. And look, I'm really excited. How are you feeling?
I'm mixed, I guess. Like part of me is excited. Like I'm excited for the Rumble side of it, but I feel like the auxiliary matches, you said the ones that could be, you mentioned could be on any other PLE. I feel like they're kind of predetermined. I'm a little mixed. I'm a little mixed. I'm hoping that I'm wrong on some of these counts, but I think you and I are gonna come to a consensus on those two other matches. So just a little bit like that, but I feel like the Rumble, I'm with you though, it's always one of my favorite times. Like there's nothing better than having, 15, 20 guys in a ring, just duking it out, just trying to stay in the ring,
Yeah.
Always been a fan of the Rumble. Rumble's one of the best PLEs out there, but these other two, quote unquote, the title match and the retirement match, I don't know, Casey, I'm trying to get excited, but I feel like foregone conclusions. Am I wrong?
No, I think they do really, in a way. I do think there's a small chance that both of them could go the opposite way, but it's really small. It's a really small chance. So I mainly meant in the way that the matches are going to be entertaining and both matches may be match of the year contenders. In terms of like when it's all said and done, all four of those guys have the potential to give us match of the year contenders. So a night of great action. But I think the unpredictability of the Royal Rumble will offset a lot of that. And like we talked about in our Saturday night's main event and Monday Night Raw, like reaction and fallout of that, I think the Royal Rumble PLE itself is going to set a lot of the context, obviously, going forward that we don't have. Like, it's going to answer a lot of questions that we don't have the answers to yet. So,
and right now, as I'm seeing, neither of these other matches have like any stipulation on them. I mean, obviously the AJ Styles Gunther matches for AJ's retirement, but it's not like a no holds barred match, right? So there's still gonna be DQs and whatnot in both these matches. Like not none of these are like all out brawls. They're both pretty straight matches from what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah, no stipulation except for the career on the line, like you mentioned. But no, I think it's going to be a clean pin both ways. I think there's going to be no shenanigans, no distractions, no interference. I think it's going to be two straight up matches with two clean winners. And I say clean, two definitive winners. We'll say that. All right, so let's jump into it, actually. So we're going to jump into first. The only match with the stipulation out of these two is the retirement, potentially, of AJ Styles. He's putting his career on the line against Gunther. Matt, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. How are you feeling? What do you think's going to happen? Have you enjoyed AJ Styles while you've been able to see him?
Dude, yeah. No, first off, look, I'm sad as anyone else that AJ Styles is retiring at this point in his career. I really feel like he just gave us maybe the match of the decade with him and Shinsuke at Saturday Night Main Event. That match for me is going to go down as being one of the most brutal, hardcore, back and forth, just love letter between two guys just going at it with really nothing on the line but just respect and mutual admiration and doing it one more time. That's going to go down as just being, and then the rest of the AJ Styles matches that we've had in the past year, like his match with Cena and whatnot. There's been a lot of good, like I said, I've had a lot of fun getting to know AJ Styles as I've come back into wrestling. On the flip side, I love Gunther. I love everything Gunther. I love this big, hulking, foreign, emissary of destruction, that has no problem just openly being dastardly heel. Like, it's great. As for this match, I'm not sure what kind of match we're going to get. Since we already kind of saw this once, and we saw it recently as well. And we've seen that, their styles kind of work in a way, but there's a lot of stuff that, Gunther's a big man. AJ's kind of more of a fluid wrestler, so it's interesting to see these styles clash. I'm curious to see what kind, because I don't want a match that gets stuck yet again.
No pun intended, right? Styles
right.
Clash. No pun
styles
intended.
Clash.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I don't want to see a bunch of submissions, I guess, at least not early. And that's going to be more the question I ask you, Casey, is does this match end in submission? Does this end in AJ tapping? Is that what, or is this going to end with a pin? How does this match end? Because I feel like the way the stories have gone, like I said, Gunther made Cena tap. AJ technically made Gunther tap. Does Gunther make AJ tap to end his career? Is that, or his WWE career? Is that the way it goes? I'm kind of leaning towards a tap, but at the same time, I don't want the match to be, whatever, calf breakers or whatever, and sleeper holds and whatnot throughout. I want there to be some heavy hitting. I love it. I love it when Gunther gives just as good as he gets on those, just smacks and whatnot. I want this to be brutal. Same with the other match that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But I want this to be brutal. I want us to feel AJ's pain. Because I want us to believe that AJ should retire at the end of this match, Because that's maybe the worst thing is I watched that Shinsuke match on Saturday Night Main Event, and I'm like, what are you retiring for, dude? Like, that was literally one of the best matches I've seen. I don't know, Casey, where are you at on this, man? Because I'm really hoping just for a really solid match that doesn't have too many submissions, but at the same time, I feel it's going to end in submission, and it should maybe end in submission. Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you got?
So to answer your question, do I think that AJ Styles is going to tap out to end the match? No, I don't think he's going to tap out. But I do think that AJ Styles is going to pass out. I think that's probably the inevitable ending that we have to see is, look, John Cena tapped out, and we've already talked about it a million times. If you haven't seen the clip, it's on our TikTok. I think it's pinned. But we've talked about it a million times in terms of Cena didn't tap out because he was at the end of his rope and he thought he was going to pass out. He tapped out because he was done. It was symbolic to his career. AJ doesn't want to give up. He does not want to quit. He does not want his career to end. He put 2026 as the timetable on his career, not Royal Rumble as the timetable on his career. He was backed into this corner, and Cena wasn't. Cena made his bed. He was ready to lay in it. AJ is not. And so I don't think that AJ is going to tap, especially when the whole thing has been about, he wants to make Gunther tap. Gunther made fun of Cena for tapping, so on and so forth. I don't think that AJ's tapping. But I do think that he is going to get put in a sleeper hold and fight for probably close to 5 minutes, dude. It's going to be a long time. And then finally, it's going to be too much. AJ's going to pass out. They're going to drop the hand. He's going to give up. Now, you say you don't want to see a lot of submissions. I got bad news for you. Both of these guys have submission finishers. That's like saying you don't want to see high flyers jump off the top rope. So well, I mean, it's going to happen.
We've also got the Styles Clash. I would love it if somehow he hit the
You just
Styles
named
Clash.
His other finisher, though. That's the finish of a match.
Right. I would love it if he hit the Styles Clash on Gunther somehow. Because, man.
He will. He 100% will. He's going to do it.
Gunther doesn't feel like he fits. He feels like he's too tall.
No, he's going to do it. But I was going to say, you're going to see a lot of everything because I think they're going to give this close to 30 minutes. I think it's going to be a long match.
Yeah.
So even if you see 10 minutes of submission holds, at least them going at it, that's only a third of the match. So there's going to be a lot of room here. I think AJ should tap out. I think Gunther should win. I didn't think it was going to be this early in 2026, but when I'm looking at the overarching storyline and the way that they've written it, this is what has to happen. AJ has to lose and Gunther has to win. Again, if AJ wins, then I think they need to immediately rectify it by having Gunther win the Rumble. Not that losing to AJ is a big deal, but talking all this shit after you've made John Cena tap out and then losing is a big deal. You can't have your biggest heel talk all of that smack and then go and lose to AJ whenever he backs AJ into a corner, especially after AJ bitch slapped you a few weeks ago. You can't do it. He has to win. So yeah, I think AJ loses by submission, but by I guess
by passing out.
Pass out. Yeah. So I think he's going to pass out from the sleeper hold, and then Gunther's going to stand tall, and then AJ goes on to maybe have the rest of the year in TNA. I think that's probably the most likely.
And then Gunther will carry him like a baby out of the ring down the ring walk, and he'll be like,
I think he's going to do the whole thing. He's going to shake AJ's hand after, and then AJ's going to do the bow to all four sides, which is customary. Like in Japan, you always do that when it's your last match in Japan. And so I think that's kind of what he's going to do. Leave his gloves in the ring, and then I think maybe he goes, like I said, I just don't see him being done. I think that he's got some more matches to have just outside of WWE.
All right, no, so we're in agreement, and I can see them. I can see him passing out too. So, but we both agree that it's going to end in that sense. He's going to end with Gunther choking him out.
Yeah, Gunther will be victorious. We both agree. All right, so up next we have the WWE Championship. It is Drew McIntyre defending against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, of course, coming off of that fatal four-way number one contenders match at Saturday night's main event last weekend. And of course, I said last pod, the wrestling math, that Sami should win. I went at the last second against it because I felt like Randy kind of made more sense because I wanted to see Sami win the Rumble. But wrestling math prevailed. Sami did win that fatal four-way match, and now he is the number one contender. We kind of talked about this already, Matt. Maybe feels like a foregone conclusion. I feel like this is going to be a banger of a 20-ish minute match that Drew McIntyre is going to pick up the win in. I think that Drew's probably going to do something weaselly or conniving or maybe behind the ref's back that's going to get him this win. But I do think that Drew McIntyre walks out of the Royal Rumble and out of Saudi as the WWE champion. I don't think that Sami's taking it here.
No, look, that's why I asked you, were there any stipulations? Because this match feels like one that needs to be like an old holds barred, some kind of match. I just feel like, yeah, this is going to be brutal. This is going to be the most brutal match of the night. This is all for Saudi Arabia and their love of Sami Zayn, and he is going to look like $1 million before he loses. And when he loses, I want both these guys' face just to be strewn with blood and sweat. I want him to take chairs to the forehead and like just cut something open, just that pall of blood, just because that's what I feel like that's the kind of match this deserves. Because or you don't know for sure, but Sami ain't winning because you got too much going on with Cody and Jacob and Drew right now. Like WWE, I hate to say it, they played their hand in a way in this sense. And they're giving Sami this first, go at the title. Maybe he's going to get another one later down the line. I hope so, because Sami Zayn deserves to be a world heavyweight champion. But what are you going to do right now? What are you going to do the way the storylines are going? It just isn't going to work. And if it does, then color me completely confused, because then I don't know where we're going next on the next the next 2 months as we lead up to WrestleMania. I don't have a clue, and I'm all here for it. I love not knowing. I love not having a clue. So please, let Sami win. Screw me up. Let AJ win. Screw me up. But this feels like it's Drew no matter what. But I just want this to be bloody, and I want this to be just brutal. Like, these guys do not like each other. And if nothing else, Drew's tired of Sami's. What did you say his record was? 13-0 against Sami right now? 13-0. If I had to wrestle a guy who I was 13-0 against, again, 14-0, I'd be a little over it. I'd be like, what am I doing here, dude? I've already whooped your butt enough. Come, let's whoop it again, I guess. Come on. So I want this to be brutal. I want this to go down for match of the year. This feels like it could be a match of the year candidate for me. Like I said, between the two guys, the way they work, the amount of punishment both guys can take that we've seen both of them take, and the most punishment as they can give, there's nothing better than thinking Sami's down and then see Sami stand back up and give you one more haluva kick, So, like I said, I'm taking Drew. I really love to take Sami if it wasn't for these storylines. I feel like, that's the one detriment to this match is just it feels preordained, Casey. That's the only thing. Otherwise, dude, like I said, this is match of the year contender all over it.
Well, I do disagree a little bit in the way that I do feel like Sami has made his intentions for that world title the last at least few months pretty clear, and I think he's done a good way of getting himself ingrained into the storyline. I think that Sami's destined to be world champion. I just don't think it's right now at this very moment. And like I've been saying, I think there's a really good chance that we do have a chamber match for that title. And since I don't have Sami winning the Rumble, I think that Sami could also be in that chamber match where he might also fall short again. But, excuse me, I don't think this is Sami's last shot at the title. I just don't think he's winning in here. And I don't think it's going to be this big knockdown, bruising, bloody brawl or anything like that. But because I think that the big bloody brawl, if there were to be one, would be the one that Sami would need to win. I think that would be the one you come out on top of, and you have Sami holding the title at the end. Because at the end of a big bloody brawl, you got the heel winning, and it's like, okay, like we got some respect for the babyface, but that feels like the big crowning moment for Sami. And I would have to look at events for the rest of the year, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sami's in the WWE title match at SummerSlam down the line, or maybe he's Mr. Money in the Bank and just cashes it in immediately or something like that. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but we're both in agreement. Drew McIntyre here. Super awesome. We're 2 for 2 on the same predictions. Gotta love it when it happens. But like we said, almost felt like some foregone conclusions here.
Not these other ones. These other ones we are not probably going to be. We'll see if we get anything in line on these other ones.
Yeah. All right. So before we jump into the Royal Rumble matches, let me give you a little bit of a format on what we did for our predictions this time around. We did this for both of them. We're going to have our two people that are starting for both of the Rumbles. All of these are for both Rumbles. Our Iron Man and our Iron Woman. Most eliminations, our final four, and then, of course, our winners for both Rumbles. And Matt, we're going to start with the Women's Royal Rumble match. Matt, tell me who you have as your first two out for the Women's Royal Rumble, first and second.
All right, first two out. I have Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega. Those are my first two out. I feel like Chelsea, if nobody starts a show like Chelsea Green does, I don't think anybody has Chelsea Green winning the Rumble. I could be wrong. So it's a perfect place to put her. Give her all her props. And who are you going to bring out against her? Well, let's bring out one of her rivals. Let's take out Zelina Vega. Let's bring them both out early, and let's get this party started. Those are my first two in the Rumble. Who's your first two, Casey?
All right, my first two in the Rumble. I'm kind of going opposite of you here. I have
Okay.
two high-profile main eventers coming out, number one and number two. I've got Liv Morgan and Alexa
Wow.
Bliss. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss are going to come out one and two, and I think they're going to. No spoiler alert here. I think they're both going to have great showings in this Rumble. I think they're going to make some pretty deep runs that I think are going to leave a lot of people surprised. But yeah, I've got Liv and I've got Liv and I've got Alexa coming out one and two. Yeah.
Wow, man. I mean, look, that's bold. That's bold. I can see, man, both of them, man, and that's a great little startup too, man. That'd be a great little 5 minute match before the third person comes in. I dig that. All right, I get behind that. I get behind that.
All right, so up next, let's go ahead and do our most eliminations, Matt. Who do you? Yeah, we'll start with you here. Who do you have for the? Sorry, I skipped our first and second for the men's rumble.
Are we going back and forth? Are we going to go back and
No,
forth?
I forgot. Well, sorry, I forgot to say we're starting with the women's rumble. We'll just do the
Yeah,
women's
yeah.
rumble. Who are you starting, or who do you have with your most eliminations for the women's Royal Rumble?
This one, I'm going side to what I had last year. I'm going Lash Legend. I
Mm,
think I think Lash, like I said, we've seen her get a lot of come up with Nia lately. I feel like this is a good way to continue to put Lash over and to continue to show how dominant she could be and to continue to maybe make that fearsome twosome of her and Nia Jax as a women's tag team going forward a little more of a thing. So I think Lash Legend probably knocks out the most people. What do you think, Casey? You got anybody crazy?
So I actually originally had Lash Legend up
Okay.
until right before we started. I thought for sure Lash was going to be it, but I was thinking about it, and I have a different name. I'm going to go with Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace is going to have the most eliminations on the women's
All
side.
right.
I think,
All
and I
right.
think they're going to be like neck and neck. Maybe Jordan has like one more than Lash because I really do think Lash is going to have a good showing. I think that WWE is really high on her. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's great. I love Lash Legend, and I think that whenever they're finally ready to break those two apart, I think that she could be a really big baby face after the downfall of that tag team, and her and Nia probably have a match down the line somewhere. I
Right.
think I love Lash, and I think it's a really good call. I almost picked her, but I'm going to go with Jordan Grace for my most eliminations on the women's side.
No, I mean I like Jordan Grace as well, and I'll go ahead and tell you because I guess that probably the next thing we're doing is who lasts the longest, and I have
Yeah, our
Jordan Grace,
Iron Woman. Who's our
our
Iron
Iron
Woman?
Woman, and I have Jordan Grace as my Iron Woman. So I don't have her knocking
Okay.
the most people out, but I do have Jordan Grace as my Iron Woman. Um, Casey, I got to ask you, if you got Liv starting the match, is Liv your Iron Woman then?
You best believe it. Liv Morgan is my Iron Woman. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think she comes out at one, and I think she lasts a pretty long time in this Rumble. I think if this Rumble is going to be an hour and a half, an hour
Mm-hmm.
20, I'd say she's pretty high up there in terms of how long she's in there. So, yeah, give me Liv Morgan as my number one entrant and my Iron Woman.
All right, all right. I had a feeling that you might have Liv going for a hot minute there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So we're gonna jump now into our final four. I'll start off with my final four. And tell you what, we'll go one at a time. If you hear a name that I say, you interject and let me know if they're also in your final four.
All right.
All right. So in my final four, I'm going to go with a surprising one here. We just talked about her actually. I'm going to have Lash Legend as one of my final fours. Like I said, I think she's going to have a really good Rumble, and I think that I would almost win. I'll tell you right now, I don't have Rhea or Io in my final four, and but here's the thing: I think they're going to be 5 and 6 out. I think they're going to be right before the final four, and
Right.
somebody, maybe Lash, eliminates both of them at the same time. Maybe
Okay.
they work together to eliminate Nia Jax, and then Lash comes out of nowhere and just dumps them both out. And that's maybe how we can get to Lash and Nia going after them for the tag titles, like you think they're going to do. You've been saying for a while. So yeah, give me Lash Legend as one of my final four.
All right.
Easy name. Give me, I think, a returning Bianca Belair. If she's going to be back, give me
Oh,
Bianca Belair in my final four.
I didn't even think about Bianca. That's a good one. I didn't think about Bianca. That's a good one.
Another one that I have returning that's been it's been through the rumor mill that she's probably coming back. Give me Tiffany Stratton in my final four. Tiffy time. I think she's also
Yeah.
going to be here. I wouldn't be shocked if Tiffy's the 30th entrant. Or it's going to be Tiffy or Bianca, I think, at number 30. So give me Tiffany Stratton in my final four. And then last but not least, give me my number one entrant. Give me my Iron Woman. Give me Liv Morgan in my final four.
All right. Well, that's the only place we cross over is I've got Liv Morgan in my final
Well,
four.
here, let me
Right.
throw out my final four real quick, and then we'll shift it up so
Okay.
just we
Okay.
can have it. All right. So for the note, my final four, I have Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, Lash Legend, and Liv Morgan. Those are my final four. All right, Matt, who are your final four for the Women's Royal Rumble?
All right. So like I said, the one crossover we've got is Liv Morgan. I believe Liv Morgan is in that final four. I have Rhea and Io in the final four because I think, like I said, this is when we start seeing maybe that cracks or confusion about what they are still, if they are still a tag team, how much longer it's going to last. Like I said, we talked about it fraying a little bit, but they've been the ones who's frayed the least out of all these championship tag teams that we had. Like we've seen all the other ones, but they haven't really frayed yet. So I see this as the beginning of the fray, and I see that because, like I said, Liv's one of the other four, as is Asuka. I've got Asuka as another part of the final four, and like I said, I feel like she's there. Probably we'll see Kyrie Zane as a final 5 to 8 person who's helped get Asuka through that. And then Asuka's in the final four, and her and Io can go back and forth. Liv and Rhea can go back and forth, and then I see them knocking Rio out. So I guess my final two would be Liv and Asuka. So
Now, see, I agree with you on the way that I do see the tension or maybe the fraying of Rio starting here at the Rumble, but I think that's what's going to cost them from missing out on the Final Four.
right,
I think
right.
maybe they something happens and they're just kind of like staring at each other down, like, hey, like what's up with that or whatever, and then they both get chunked out. Maybe they both get chunked out by Jackson Legend, and maybe Nia is in that Final Four with Lash. Maybe we're looking at a final four of like you Liv, Bianca Belair, Lash, and Nia. Maybe that's our final four, and then Bianca and Liv overcome the two big bads, and then we're looking at Bianca and Liv in our final two. All right, so you have for your final four in the Women's Rumble.
For my final four, I've got Liv, I've got Rhea, I've got Io, and I've got Asuka.
All right, so I like that three of our names are different. I like that we have some difference there. All right, because I have a feeling that our winner is going to be the same.
I can't believe you've got her going the whole thing, huh?
I think she's going to go number one, be the Iron Woman, and I've got Liv Morgan winning my Women's Royal Rumble this year. Look, she's been the runner-up too many times. I think that she's going to I think this is going to be the greatest Women's Royal Rumble performance in history so far. I think that she's going to come out number one, she's going to go the distance, and she's going to end up winning the whole thing. And don't call me crazy, but I think that with her Judgment Day stablemate having a world championship match against an injured champion next week, give me Raquel Rodriguez capturing that title and Liv Morgan turning on Raquel the night after the Royal Rumble or the Monday after the Royal Rumble and declaring her intentions for that world title. Maybe not the Royal Rumble or the Monday night after. Maybe they wait till after Elimination Chamber. But I think that Liv and Raquel and maybe even Roxanne in a triple threat, maybe on a crash course to WrestleMania for that World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, give me Liv Morgan coming out number one, going the distance, and winning the Women's Royal Rumble.
No, I mean,
and Matt types. What's he looking up?
But no, I'm with you. I think it's Liv. I think, like I said, I think it comes down to Liv and Asuka. I think that's going to be an interesting final 3 minutes, match going between the two of them back and forth. But yeah, no, I've got Liv taking it, but I don't have the booking like you afterwards. I'm not sure where to book it afterwards. I'm not sure where Liv goes after winning. It just feels like right now everything is coming up Liv in the way that's not coming up Liv. You know, the fact that the Judgment Day didn't beat Rio for the tag titles, the fact that they just lost on Monday. Like, I just feel like everything's just kind of momentuming Liv to finally get a win. What win's it going to be? It's going to be the Royal Rumble win. What happens after that? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't book it that far to like her taking on Raquel, who just dethroned Stephanie. Could very well be. I guess I don't really see her wrestling Jade. Maybe Raquel goes against Stephanie, loses, and Liv's like, let me show you how to do it. And she takes it off of Stephanie.
That's a good possibility. That's a good possibility.
But yeah, no, I see her, and I see by WrestleMania, yeah, that Liv Morgan is women's one of the women's champions. So yeah.
There you go. All right, so yeah, so we got the same winner. That's
I can't believe you've got her going the whole time though. That's insane.
Dude.
But, hey, look, that's bold. Well, I like it.
We've seen it happen in the men's Rumble before, and right. I think we're still missing that. Like, let me see. I don't think has anyone. I don't know if anyone's won the Royal Rumble at the one spot in the women's Rumble. Has anyone won the women's Rumble from number one? Rhea Ripley did it. Yeah, she won it from the number one spot. Yeah, she did it in 2023. Maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot by picking Liv to go one and be the Iron Woman. Maybe she doesn't come out as one, but I think that Liv still has a pretty good shot to be the Iron Woman and the winner. And maybe she just comes out as number two, so that way she can be the winner from number two instead of number one. It'll be this exact same. So
yeah.
All right, so let's jump into our men's Royal Rumble. I'm hoping we have some differences here as well.
I'm sure we're way more different on this one. I don't know though. We'll see.
All right. So we'll switch it up a little bit with my first two out for the men's Royal Rumble. I'm anxious to see what you think about this. As my number one entrant, I have Cody Rhodes out at number one. Yeah, I think Cody's going to come out at number one. I think that, it's going to be one of those like heroic efforts from Cody this whole Rumble. And I think number two, I think they're going to give us a few minutes to run it back. I think number two, we get Oba Femi. I think we're going to start with Cody and Oba at the very beginning. They've been pushing Oba Femi really heavy, especially with these vignettes. What a way to get more eyes on him in Saudi and on the PLE than to have Oba Femi start out with the former WWE champion, the guy who they never got to finish their match at Saturday Night Main Event in December. So yeah, give me Oba and Cody at the beginning. Maybe with Cody starting to realize who Oba is. He takes some of those big hits, but throws them around a little bit, maybe almost eliminates them really quickly. And I think then we can have a few minutes for them to really get into some action before we really get into the heat of the Rumble. So yeah, give me Cody and Oba to start the men's Royal Rumble at 1 and 2.
Ooh, I love it. That's interesting. I hadn't gone there, and I kind of like blanked. Remember when I asked you, did Cody just say he was going to be the number one, like the first guy out in the Rumble?
Right.
Or is he just being the first guy to officially announce for the... So Cody is a great choice. I didn't even think about. I've got no idea.
All right, let's go. I'm listening.
I've got Logan Paul as the first one out. Why? Because who's the biggest social media star? Let's bring him out there. Let's get all the cameras going. Let's get it started. And who better for him to take on than Joe Hendry? I've got Logan Paul, Joe Hendry for who's the biggest blonde guy on social media. And
I don't hate that. Actually, that's a pretty viral moment that they could
right?
get.
I feel like that's a lot of fun to
start.
Open. Like two guys, like totally different dispositions. Logan's always serious and angry. Like Joe could even come out there with a guitar and start singing a song for all I care. So I don't know. I really don't know. I like yours better than mine, but that's where I went. If nothing else, I'm like Logan Paul comes out first because, like I said, he's the biggest social media guy. Get him out there, get all the cameras going, get all the TikToks and the Twitters and the Instagrams going. Let everybody know if they're not watching the Rumble, turn it on now because it started, because Logan Paul's come out. So
that's actually a really great call, Matt. That's a really great call. And you can have the drone coming out and everything.
Yeah, you have all sorts of all the Logan Fun shenanigans that you could get that you're not going to get if he comes out 20 or comes out 15, you get him right at the jump. So give me Logan Paul coming out first, and then who's he going to face? Say his name and he appears.
Yeah, maybe you could even be you could play it into your commentary as well. You could wait to hit the cue of his music until the announcers are sitting there and they're like, who's going to come out second? And whoever's on commentary could be like, Michael Cole. It could be anybody. It could be Joe Hendry. And then his music, then there he is in number 2. There you go.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it'd be a great, fun, like you said, viral way to start the Rumble. So those are my openers. All
right. So, Matt, who do you have for your most eliminations?
Most eliminations
for the Men's Royal Rumble.
I have LA Knight. Yeah.
Wow. For the most, okay.
I think LA Knight comes back to the Rumble. We haven't seen him like a month or 2 or something like that.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a while.
So I feel like he comes back. He's a little angry. He's a little rested, and he doesn't have any friends. Like, let's be real here. Who is on LA Knight's side? Like, nobody, right? And there's nobody that he's on the side of. So he could knock out anybody. I could see LA Knight just like, boom, Miz gone, boom, whatever, gone, see you later, Jay. So I'm taking LA Knight for the most elims, Casey. Who you got for the most elims?
I'm going with the guy that's coming out number 2. I'm sticking with Obafemi. I think he's going to have the most eliminations. I think he's going to have I don't think he's going to break the record, because I think to break the record, he would have to get like 15. He would have to eliminate half the field, which I guess you could do if you really, really want to establish Oba as a crazy dominant threat. But I could see him walking away with like 7 or 8 eliminations. And that being the most, because even at 7, you're eliminating almost a quarter of the field. So I could see Oba walking away with like 7 or 8, and then a few guys having like LA Knight could be there, and what if he eliminates 3 members of the Vision, and so that's 3 to him, and then somebody else, and so I think that they'll be really dispersed. But I think Oba's going to go on a stretch. Maybe him and Cody get beat down by a few people, and he sits for a second, and then when he riles back up, he just goes on a tear where he eliminates like 5 guys in the span of like 30 seconds, to clear out a little bit of the ring. Tozawa goes flying. He eliminates Otis to make himself look stronger. Something like that. So yeah, give me Obafemi for the most eliminations in the Men's Royal.
I like that because like LA Knight, he doesn't really have any allegiances yet. So there's nobody he's like sitting there like, I can't knock so-and-so out, or I'm on so-and-so's team. He can brute force anybody out of the ring too. I like that pick. That's a good pick.
Yeah, and he's the young guy trying to prove himself. He's making his main roster, you could say, his full-time debut. So he wants to come out and show in front of that Saudi crowd that he needs to be taken seriously. And a good way to do that is to have him throw out a lot of guys in the Rumble. It typically works. All right, now our Iron Man. Who do we think is going to last the longest? I don't think this should come as any surprise based on who my number 1 entrant is. I'm going Cody Rhodes. I think Cody's going to be my Iron Man. Yeah.
I thought maybe you might go Obafemi then, since he was
I think that
out.
If you ask me how Oba is going to get booked in that Rumble, I think that eventually he's going to eliminate so many guys that eventually the rest of the competitors come to the agreement that they need to gang up on him and take him out. And then I think Oba probably eats like 6 finishers and then finally gets dumped out. And so I think it's going to take a lot to get him out. But no, I think that Oba probably makes it to like top 6, maybe somewhere, definitely top 10. He goes a pretty good distance. I think he goes like 45 or 50 minutes. But I think Cody is going to go a longer distance, because I think, spoiler alert, I think Cody's destined for my Final 4.
All right. I'm with that. I'm with it.
All right, Matt, you're Iron Man for the Men's Royal Rumble.
I've got, after he accidentally knocks out Logan Paul, Austin Theory as being my Iron Man. I think Austin Theory goes in early, and I think he's sneaky. He avoids trouble where he has to, hits guys out when he has to. I've just got Austin Theory. Like, Austin Theory is probably going to be like the 6th man in, we'll say, and I think he makes it to almost the Final 4. So I got Austin Theory playing the long game on this one. Not only that, I think it also will strengthen what we've been talking about with Austin Theory and the Vision and whatnot. Him having a long time in the ring. And I'd love to see him accidentally knock Logan Paul out early. And we're all sitting there talking about that for whatever, rounds 7 through 12. We're like, did he mean to do that? Did he mean to knock out Logan? Logan Paul is still upset on the sideline yelling at Austin Theory. Austin Theory's apologizing, So I don't know. I've got Austin Theory.
I'm telling you, man, I want to see a situation where Austin Theory accidentally eliminates one of the members of the Vision, like on accident, whatever. And on that next Raw, they give him like it's almost like a club. It's like, hey, look, you're still one of us, but we got to teach you a lesson for what you did. And I would love to see a situation where Austin Theory gains their respect. Like he eats the right or a frog splash. Like he just lays down and takes it. He eats a frog splash from Logan, and like he's hurt for a second, but then he like puffs his chest up and he's ready for the next hit. And then he eats a tsunami from Bronson Reed, and he's down for a little bit longer, but finally he like staggers up and he puffs his chest out. And finally, on that last one where he stands up and he puffs his chest out, he just eats a spear from Braun Breaker. And then after that, Braun picks his head up and he's like, "Now we're good." And then Bronson just carries him out, and it just like establishes a respect amongst Austin Theory through that group, and even puts the fact of maybe Austin Theory isn't turning on the back burner a little bit, so that way maybe when it happens down the line, it's a bigger deal.
See, I
But
don't mind that.
I like that. I like that.
I don't mind. I kind of see it like next Raw, Austin Theory and Logan Paul like having an aside, just like, dude, you knocked me out, man. You know, and them having some weird and Logan Paul maybe getting hip to what's going on and trying to explain to Bronson and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker, maybe, you know, and none of them believe him. You know, they're like, "Nah, dude, it's all in your head. It's all in your head." And so when he does turn, Logan's like, "I told y'all, I told you," you know. I don't know, something like that. I can see that, but I can see your way for sure as well. So, but yeah, we both agree. I think though that Austin Theory is going to accidentally knock a person in the division out, or accidentally knock somebody in the division out.
And I think both could happen. I think that he could accidentally knock out Logan Paul. They do the beatdown thing, and then on the other side of that, he like him and Logan form a tag team out of that, and probably become tag team champions down the line. And he gains Logan's trust out of that distrust, but Logan still kind of like, you know, keeps a side eye, and then maybe that even leads to Logan getting kicked out because they just get annoyed by him saying like,
right,
"Well, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right."
Yeah, see, that's more what I see. I see like them kicking Logan out, keeping Austin when Logan's right the whole time or something.
Yeah, yeah, and Austin was the snake the whole time. Right, yeah. Right. All right, so Matt, I went first on my final four, so I'm going to let you take the floor on this one. But Matt, who are your final four? And I'll jump in. Who are your final four for the men's Royal Rumble?
This is the beefiest final four ever.
Okay, I'm ready.
I got Obafemi. I got Bronson Reed. I got Roman Reigns, and I got Braun Breaker.
Okay.
That's got to be the beefiest final four ever.
Yeah, probably so. Well, hey, look, we're in agreement on two of them. I'm right there with you on Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns. I think they're both also in the final four.
See, Bronson Reed, I got him 4-5. Like, I feel like Bronson goes out next, but he might go out before the four, you know? But yeah, no, that's my four. And then give me, God, I don't know who the final two is. Like, but those are my final four, Casey. I got, like I said, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns, and Obafemi. Who you got as your final four?
Well, I could see Bronson Reed being eliminated in that whole situation of Austin Theory, Logan Paul. Maybe he accidentally eliminates Logan Paul. Bronson Reed is stuck there like, what the hell just happened? And then by him not paying attention, somebody eliminates him. Yeah, and so then it causes this whole thing. But yeah, so in my final four for the men's Royal Rumble, I'm right there with you. I've got Braun Breaker. I've got Roman Reigns. Give me Cody Rhodes in my final four. And give me LA Knight in my final four as well.
There he shows up. He shows up. All right.
Yeah, I think he shows up. I think he makes a pretty good run. I don't think he gets as many eliminations as you think he does. I think maybe he only has like 2 or 3 really meaningful eliminations that maybe establish something for him going forward, or maybe like settle something that he went through in the past. Maybe he is the one that eliminates Braun Breaker and like kind of puts the whole bed to that vision past that he's been dealing with for the last year or so. But yeah, in my final four, give me Cody Rhodes, give me Roman Reigns, give me Braun Breaker, and give me LA Knight, as my final four.
Dude, I like that. I like LA Knight in the final four. I don't know why I didn't think, like I said, I haven't having the most eliminations. I don't know why I don't have him in the final four. I don't know how he gets eliminated before that, and it probably is a better Rumble if LA Knight makes the final four. So maybe he makes it instead of Bronson then. Maybe he eliminates Bronson when Bronson's looking the wrong way. Maybe that's what it is. So I might meet you on that one too. We might be three of four, and where we differ is in your 2 opening men. I've got Oba, you've got Cody.
Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and get right into it. I think I've got the most boring pick for my men's Royal Rumble winner. Matt, I'm picking Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is going to win the men's Royal Rumble. Yeah. I think it's the easy pick. It's not the sexiest pick to go with. It's not super crazy or unique. But look, it's been 10 years since he no 11 years since he won the Royal Rumble the first time, and I think that the crowd has fallen in love with Roman Reigns. He's a huge babyface now, and I think now would be the good time to go ahead and pull the trigger on his second Royal Rumble win. So yeah, give me Roman Reigns in the most uninteresting and obvious pick that somebody could have. Give me Roman Reigns.
See, part of the reason why I had Bronson Reed make the Final Four is because I had to have a way that Roman Reigns doesn't win it, you know? And I think one way you have him not win it is to be too distracted by Bronson Reed's and his Shulafala ways and his, you know, tribal thief ways. So I've got Braun winning. Look, I mean, I feel like that's the other boring answer, right? Braun Breaker for the win. Give me Braun Breaker because it's his time. If it's not his time now, I don't know. This is what we've kind of been building towards. I feel like this whole time with the Vision, got him back for the Royal Rumble. Otherwise, they would have kept him out of it. But you put him back in it, he's going to win it. Give me Braun Breaker to win it and be your future BW heavyweight champion.
All right, so who do you have Braun Breaker eliminating to win the Royal Rumble? Because I have a feeling you have him eliminating Roman Reigns, and I actually have it flipped. I think that Roman's going to win by eliminating Braun Breaker. So I'm just curious.
See, you threw LA Knight in my brain now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like he eliminates LA Knight to win. I feel like maybe you're right. LA Knight is in the Final Four, and it's him and Knight. Because I feel like you said, I feel like him and Bronson in some way team up against Roman. You know, I don't know really who knocks Oba out, because I've got Oba Femi in that final too. Like who knocks Oba Femi out? When does he get knocked out?
See, I don't know because I don't have Oba in my Final Four.
But you got Cody, so who knocks Cody out? Roman?
No, probably. I mean, yeah, actually, probably Roman. Probably Roman.
I mean, you know, I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I'll admit, I feel like you and I are both way more certain about the women's. At least the winner. This one though, it could go anyway, dude. It could go 13 directions. I feel like there's a bunch of guys that could win this, but I feel like it's Braun's time. But I don't think he takes out Roman. I feel like, I mean, I guess he'd be taking out Oba or Bronson then in my final.
No,
four.
I mean, LA Knight, him eliminating LA Knight is a good shout. I think that would make a lot of sense if LA Knight's actually in the match and makes it that far.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, like you said, you got me putting LA Knight in the top 5 now. So maybe LA Knight makes it further than I think he does, you know? But yeah, like, I think Oba Femi is the first one out after Bronson. Like it goes Oba, Bronson, Roman, probably Braun. So I guess if I don't have LA Knight there, it's Roman and Braun takes it.
All right. So just to cover real quick our men's Royal Rumble, just so we went through all of it. I'll run through mine. You run through your picks. All right, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
My first and second for the men's Rumble, I have Cody Rhodes, and Oba Femi. I had combined the names. Cody Rhodes and Oba Femi.
Future tag team.
There you go. For my Iron Man, I have Cody Rhodes. For my most eliminations, I have Oba Femi. My final 4, I have Cody, Roman, Braun, and LA Knight. Yeah. And then for my winner of the entire thing, I got Roman Reigns.
All right. I've got my first in. I've got the superstar Logan Paul with Joe Henry coming out there to just make it a lot more fun. I've got Austin Theory going as my Iron Man, being a little tricky. I've got LA Knight, with the most eliminations, coming back angry. And then my final 4, I've got Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed, and Oba Femi, with Braun Breaker breaking everyone, winning the Royal Rumble, and going on to the WWE Championship.
All right, man. Hey, look, Royal Rumble is upon us. The predictions are in. I'm going to hopefully make a chart and post it on our socials so you can see all of our picks and where we stand going into the Rumble. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the page, go check us out on all of our socials. Let us know who you have for all of our predictions. Who do you have winning the Rumble? I want to know who you have actually getting the most eliminations. Drop that in the comments down below for me. Who do you think's getting the most eliminations in both Rumbles? Matt, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, dude, like, I'm excited to see who shows up, because that's the most fun about the Rumble sometimes, is the people we're not expecting to see or weren't prepared to see. Who's going to show up? Who's going to be the surprise, you know, the guys, who's going to maybe take somebody's place, you know, like who's going to be like number 15. And what was it? What's the IC? What's the Speed guy? Remember when Speed guy?
Oh, yeah. Any celebrities? Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we'll get one celebrity.
You know, what do we got? Is Jelly Roll gonna come out? You know, we're gonna get some Jelly
Maybe.
Roll. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see how this is. And I'm excited to see Oba Femi and Roman Reigns back. You know, I'm excited to see both of them. You know, it's just gonna be a lot of fun, dude. I'm all for it. As you said, the Royal Rumble is, you know, one of the best events every year.
All right. Well, Royal Rumble coming up this weekend. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be starting early for us here in the U.S., so don't miss out. Don't think that you're going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern. I mean, I guess you could, but you'll be late. So make sure you catch it earlier in the day. Make sure you catch our predictions and let us know what you think. And until next time, this has been TK Wrestling. We are out.
Out.